All right, my friends, welcome back to another episode of Boozin' on a Budget right here on Titan TV. Well, it's the new year, and it's January, and you hear a lot of people talking about dry January. Wah, wah. While I'm not participating in dry January, I do have goals to decrease the amount that I'm drinking really over the course of this year and moving forward. This may not be something you ever thought you would hear or that I would address here on an alcohol show, but I mean, I'm gonna be very, very honest. We're in the truth tree, in the trust nest, right? I always wanna be honest. I literally drank my way through COVID. I drank a lot through COVID. I think a lot of people did. It became like a nightly thing. Like, what else were we doing? We're sitting at home, and I literally burned through my entire wine collection during COVID. I had a decent amount of wine, and I just drank it all. So I want to talk a little bit about moderation. Why am I starting the show like this? Well, again, I'm not doing dry January. I just kind of wanted to be honest with you guys. I have been drinking a little more than I'm comfortable with. It started out with researching and learning, and then all that was happening, and then COVID hit, and boom. I mean, I really went hard at it. And then I started making content around all the stuff that I was learning, and I just started drinking a lot. And so I want to lose some weight, I want to be healthier, and I don't want to be around, right? I want to be around for my family, I want to be around so that I can enjoy booze and wine and whiskey for a long, long time to come. So I just kind of wanted to open the show up with some honesty. I kind of want to get back to where I started, which was just learning and researching and tasting. Really, it came down to, I could have a glass of wine just to taste it. I could have a little bit of whiskey just to taste it. And then things just started rolling, and tasting became drinking. And so I'm wanting to get back to the side of researching and tasting a little bit more, and a little less of drinking to the point of just, you know, blacking out or falling asleep or whatever. Hey, we're in the truth tree, baby, the trust nest. It's hard, right? I mean, it's addictive. Let's be real. You start getting into it, it starts becoming a nightly thing, and just the habit of having a drink every night becomes a thing. So suffice it to say, guys, moderation is a good thing. Those are some of the goals I'm looking for, just to drink a little bit less as we move forward so that I can go back to really just enjoying it and have a long, healthy life. So, a friend of mine came by this week. He's actually just about to graduate from his bartending school, and he brought his book by. He said, dude, check this out, man. And I was just kind of flipping through it. Serves me right. I flip right to the spirits and the whiskey and the Scotch page. But these types of literature, now this is what he got for his bartending class, but there's a million little pieces of books, pamphlets. Total Wine has pamphlets you can check out. This just got me remembering all the stuff that I was into, man. And there's so much history. This is talking about the history of the Sazerac in New Orleans. This happens to be, I thought this was interesting here, bartending class in Las Vegas. And it is the Big Easy Bartending Guide. So it has a New Orleans theme to it. But look for this stuff. This is where I got started, just fascinated by reading and researching this stuff. This is talking about equipment, all the things that bartenders need. There's books like this for wine, beer, rum, tequila, and I was just fascinated by it. So I wanted to bring this up, show you guys. It just kind of got me thinking about where I was before, where it was more of a night of reading and researching and less just, you know, going really hard at the booze. So go find your books, go check it out. It's a lot of fun, and you will increase your knowledge, which we love to do around here. Unfortunately, I keep on finding things that say alcohol is literally poison, and I guess it is to your body. Unfortunately, I love my red wine, and we used to talk about red wine's good for your heart. There's resveratrol, it helps you lose weight. It's good for blood pressure. I need to look into a little bit more because I don't believe everything I see just straight up on the internet, but there are more and more things that I'm coming across that are saying those old studies that were around in the 80s that said red wine had some health benefits. The more we study it, the less that's true. So I've been a little bit bummed to hear that too. I think, again, we're talking about moderation. So a glass of red wine, glass of beer is not as bad as drinking the whole bottle. But I was pretty bummed to hear that some of these health benefits that you've always heard about red wine, they're starting to say they're not as true as they once thought they were. All right, now that the kind of serious stuff is over, let's go into my segment, Binge Thinking. Well, today on Binge Thinking, I want to talk about wine enclosures. Screw caps, to be exact. Here is a conundrum. This is a red blend with a screw cap. It's called a Stelvin enclosure, if you're being real scientific, or even just a twisty. These have a bit of a stigma, right? It used to be that your wine snob was going to say, I won't drink a wine with a screw cap. That's indicative of a lower quality wine. And certainly there is some truth to that. Cork being what wine is mostly enclosed with a nice cork in there. Then we start talking about there's a cork shortage. They don't talk so much about a cork shortage anymore these days, but Australia really started moving towards a screw cap. They really led the way to kind of remove that stigma and normalize these screw caps. And now a lot of wineries are using them. We're going to talk about why that is. So let the stigma go. A screw cap is no longer indicative of a cheaper wine. They may enclose cheaper wines with a screw cap, but that just does not by rule mean that the wine is cheap. Let's talk about it. Better and better wines, more quality wine producers are starting to use screw caps. Studies show screw caps keep wines fresher longer, from bottling to you putting the cap back on at home. So there's an ease to it, right? Once you pop the cork's out, you can stuff it back in, but a screw cap goes on easy. You don't have to have a wine opener to open a screw cap. So there's a little bit of ease there. Some of the best wines are using this now. It's made its way from Australia and New Zealand, and now wines from France, Italy, and America are using screw caps. I tell you what, if the French have done away with the stigma of screw caps, you know that we're moving in the direction of accepting screw caps. There is no group of people more snooty about their wine, more strict about their wine than the French. So the wine industry is starting to accept this. They're recyclable. That's the other thing. You can recycle your screw tops. That's a good thing. It's a little bit more sustainable. One of the first things that popped into my mind when talking about this is, can you age a wine with a screw cap? One of the beauties of cork is that given the nature of the cork, some of the holes in the cork, it's semi-permeable, right? It's letting little tiny bits of oxygen in over time, which is a big part of the wine aging process. That oxygen is creeping into your bottle and that's helping it to sort of age and develop secondary flavor characteristics. And so I'm like, well, will a screw cap even let in any oxygen? It does let in some oxygen. You can age wines with a screw cap. In fact, they're saying now that screw caps are better for aging certain types of wines because it's more consistent. Some corks have more air pockets, some have less. They do have some systems for that, but your screw caps pretty much across the board are very consistent. It's letting in less oxygen, which is actually helping the wine to age at a slower, more consistent rate. So they are able to age wine with a screw cap, and they're finding that it's aging more consistently. Interesting. Probably one of the best reasons that you can accept a screw cap, or that screw caps are starting to have their time, is because there's an issue with corks called corking wine, or the wine is corked, right? It's called cork taint, where something in the cork taints the wine because the wine comes up against the cork and is exposed to the cork, and then it taints that wine. So we call that cork taint, or the wine is corked. Well, what does that mean? The most common culprit of corked wine is 2,4,6-trichloroanisole, or TCA. That is something is formed in the tree bark in fungi, mold, or certain bacteria come into contact with a group of fungicides and insecticides collectively referred to as polyphenols. And so, how do you know, what does a corked wine taste like? A corked wine is described, I've had corked wine a couple times. A corked wine, when you pop that wine open and it smells like wet cardboard or wet newspaper or like a moldy basement, that is a sign that the wine is corked. Another sign is when you pop your wine open and there's like no smell, no flavor. It's just very muted is what they would call that. That's another sign of a flawed or a corked wine. So the screw cap takes all that away. You're not going to get a corked wine with a screw cap. Now let's talk. There's still plenty of reasons to go for corked wine. And to be honest with you, most wine that I'm opening and drinking still have corks. Cork is a fine enclosure. We've been using it for years and years. It does let some oxygen in to age. You can re-cork your wine bottle, stuff like that. A lot of people really like that tradition of getting their corkscrew, digging into the wine, and popping that cork out of the wine. I happen to enjoy that bit myself. However, we're starting to really accept these screw caps, these twisties, and I'm here for it, man. Anything where we can really advance in the science and the art of wine making and wine aging and starting to accept things that were maybe once not acceptable, I'm for it. You know that it's really moving the culture forward. All right, let's move on to my segment, Drink of the Week. Well, I'm gonna open this Huddle. It's from a local Las Vegas brewery here. Huddle Brewing Company, a hoppy amber. Kind of taking the classic amber style and hopping it up with some hops. Whoa, dad joke. This isn't a classic amber ale, it's been upgraded Vegas style. A hoppy punch to your nose grabs your attention, and we had to punch up the ABV to double sevens, baby. It's coming in at 7.7% alcohol by volume. Ooh, nice, beautiful amber color. The color on that. Little teaser, we're gonna do a science experiment, probably in next week's show, about pouring the beer. I just poured the beer pretty, you know, I got a nice head on there, lots of foam. I used to pride myself on being able to pour my beer with no head, especially out of a keg, because it seems like a lot of people couldn't do that. But we're talking about that's maybe not the best way to pour it, so that's a little teaser for next week. Let's go ahead and give this a smell. Not overpowering on the nose, nice and hoppy. A little bit amber, malty amber sweetness going on there. Oh, that's really good. That is a good malty amber. I do love me some ambers because I do like it malty. That's on the malty side of it. What other ones do I love that have malt? Marzin's. Kind of has a Marzen thing going on to it. This show is going to air on Saturday, but on January the 24th, we celebrated National Beer Can Appreciation Day. And so just look at these lovely beer cans. Look at what they're doing nowadays. They're super colorful, super artistic. They are really pushing the boundaries. Check this one out. This one is super cool. Got that wizard on there. This is from Lead Dog in Reno, Nevada. This is a very interesting one. Churro Please, stout with cinnamon and natural flavors. This even lists the artist of the can label. It's Metal Jeff. What a name for an artist, Metal Jeff. But you cannot help but notice the cool artwork and the cool things that they're doing with these beer cans. It's the fusion of art and science, right? Which is what beer is, the fusion of art and science. So I thought that was interesting. We just celebrated National Beer Can Appreciation Day. To see where they're coming from back in the old days, you had your Coors, your silver bullet. Woo, the mountains turn blue. This is much cooler than the mountains turning blue. So go out, check it out. Find some really interesting artistic beer cans. Some people, it's hard to throw these away sometimes because they're so cool. But we don't really need a bunch of empty beer cans running around the house. All right, my last segment today is Pairs With. Now, I've been a little bit cheeky with my Pairs With segment. We've certainly talked about pairing our alcoholic beverages with our food. We've done that many times over. I've used Pairs With to show you what apps that I like to use and to pair with finding and researching some of these things. Today I'm gonna go a completely different direction. I'm a big music guy. I'm a DJ, I'm a wedding DJ and also a club DJ, a bedroom DJ, all kinds of fun stuff. I am a music guy. This beer right now, or any drink that you're enjoying, pairs with an artist that I'm listening to right now. His name is Fred Again. He's an interesting artist, he's from Britain. Fred Again. If you're into electronic music at all, go check out Fred Again. He's got a relatively new album out. Also just dropped a song, Rumble, with Skrillex. Go check that out. But I have been obsessed lately with his most recent album, Actual Life 3. So go check this out. I've been kind of thinking about making a segment where I recommend music. This is what it looks like, got that nice blue cover there. Even if you're not a fan of electronic music, this stuff is crazy. It is so, so good. Similar you're into Odessa at all, similar vein to Odessa. What's really cool about Fred again is that his fans will go on his Discord, record something for him, or have a conversation with him on his Discord. Then he'll take that conversation or that recording and sample it and make a song out of it. He will put whoever gave that sample or whoever left that recording, he'll title the song their name. What an incredible way to engage your fans as a music producer or as an artist. So I just found that to be a really cool story, the way that he samples from his Discord. And then I have pretty much had this album on repeat. It's kind of a low, chill, housey sort of vibe. I don't know, check it out. I would love to hear what you guys think about Fred again. Put it in the comments, comment on YouTube, or just do yourself a favor, check out Fred again. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me here tonight on this episode of Boozin' on a Budget. Want to shout all the creators out and editors on Titan TV as we make our way through the other half of the season. It's been a fun ride. Get yourself something cold to drink, but do it in moderation. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next time.